All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Apothecary Diaries, episode 20.
Mau Mau's alive.
Yeah.
Probably.
For now.
Most likely. Main character protection. But at the very least, Jinshi is alive and Lacan is shooketh.
Yeah.
Something is going on in his head right now.
That is not what he wants.
It is full of fuck. But we're gonna be excited to see what that is.
Yeah.
Because he put a lot of effort,
making this
coincidental
happen.
effort in order to make this happen, and it didn't happen the way that he wanted.
Right.
So
but he also did help Mau Mau
why?
get in there.
Why? That's the fun part here.
But
And then Suire is going to get caught up in the middle of all this.
I imagine so.
I imagine so as well. But Jinshi taking care of Mau Mau.
Let's get it.
Taking care of Mau Mau.
Yes.
Everybody.
Maybe
protect
even
Mau Mau.
Maybe even Mau Mau's dad being brought in to specifically help make sure that she's okay.
Yeah, like her wound doesn't get infected with iron or some kind of
Yeah,
shit
or just
anything
the
like
head
that.
wound, will be
Yeah,
fine.
that too. Yeah, maybe needing
Yeah.
to do some stuff to make sure her skull isn't fractured in any way whatsoever.
I imagine it probably is.
It's at the very least cracked, probably, which is. Ugh. So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. Oh, yeah. No.
Just
no.
don't sit up.
無理しちゃダメよ。15針も縫ったんだからってジンシ様が連れてきたのよ。起きたところで悪いけど着替えられる？皆さんを連れてくるわ。わかりました。
Okay. We got
job.
people to. Yeah.
主人が危険にさらされればね。怒鳴られる筋合いはないのだが。
どういう経緯であの場所にやってきたのか、なぜ柱が落ちるのが分かったのか。
偶然が重なり合った事故です。偶然が引き寄せられたようでした。そういう意味では、一つ目の偶然は去年、霊部の交換である倉庫でボヤが起き、同時に別の場所で細具が盗まれたこと。ほぼ同時期に細具の管理者が食中毒で倒れたことです。
誰かの思惑で起こされたと。
Theoretically, yes.
重要なことがあります。盗まれた細具です。祭壇の柱を金属線で吊り上げ、床の金具に固定していました。蹴るのであれば、要である金具を狙うでしょう。
そんなものが盗まれたら作り直さないわけがないだろう。
作り直したでしょう。
Yeah.
ふさわしい凝った装飾をすると考えられます。その職人に心当たりがありました。
亡くなった彫金職人か。
はい。盗まれた金具はこの金具が熱で壊れるように。
バカか。
Yeah.
We just saw that. Yep.
彫金細工師の秘伝の技術を使えば火のそばにあるだけで
彫金細工師、この計画を立てた一味と。
おそらく何も知らず依頼された通りに金具を作ったのだと。あの特殊な金属で作ってくれとでも頼まれ。
Sure.
職人も不審に思います。その前に消してしまえば依頼人の名も闇に葬られ、
Boom.
とても都合が良かったでしょう。
殺されたのか。
それはわかりません。そう見せかけた事件の可能性も。
But he did die.
死んだ職人に金具の製作を頼んだ人間はその技術が何であるか知っていた。まさかあの場に人種さんがいると。
Right.
何者なんだよこいつ。こんな大掛かりな事件で命を狙われるには知ったところで面倒な。
Yeah. Don't admit that you know anything. Just.
もう私には関係ない。
Yep. You've done your part.
Recovering pretty well.
Yeah, she's recovered wonderfully.
様よ。
水霊という患女が関係していたんだが、
やはり水霊か。
死体で見つかったよ。
Fuck.
毒を煽って倒れていたらしい。医官による検視も済んで死亡も確認された。
他の関係者は、
他にはいない。
ほどこのようなとしたことを全部一人で。
見落着だな。それじゃ。
毒を煽って死んだ。本当にこれで終わりなのか。水霊は自殺するような女だろうか。
Maybe something that makes her appear dead?
先がないと分かっていたからか。あの時の試すような口ぶり。ここに朝顔を植えるわ。
Yeah. I have a plan of something to do, within the day.
蘇りの薬。
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Not actual resurrection, but no, I'm gonna get killed. So
Yeah.
I need you to help me revive somebody.
なんだ
水霊を検視した医官と死体置き場で
お前は何を笑って
好奇心に負けた
How good of an apothecary are you?
Yeah. Oh, hey, and the scene of the coffin with
Yeah.
the person sitting up.
が入るなら俺も
And the body coming up.
お待たせして申し訳ありません。
やはりこの医官が検視を親しげに話していた患者が死んで罪人扱いされたのだからやつれもするだろう。マンだらけが使われていませんでしたか。馬屋の上の小高い丘、
Uh-huh.
あそこにマンだらけを植えたのではありませんか。
Oh, the flower in the
麻酔
opening.
薬として作用します。
Hmm.
医局にそれがないとは思えません。白い朝顔の
Fun. I was gonna say they looked like
Gotcha.
morning glories, but
では実際に確かめてみましょう。
何をする
You sure you don't want
待ってみてください。
someone that's not badly hurt to do that?
all right, let's see how she looks. Oh, she looks.
じゃない
Oh.
確かに水霊だったんだ。私が水霊を見間違えるわけがない。真の像も動いていなかった。綺麗なもんだったよ。
いいように利用されたんですね。死体を切り刻もうとは考えもして。
Oh, damn.
水霊もそれを見越していた。
お前
Gao should just be like, nope.
マンダラケだけではありません。
Yeah.
医局の薬の在庫数を調べれば何を使ったかわかると思います。この医官を責めるとすれば薬の管理が不十分だったことだ。
Yeah, incompetence. Yeah.
棺桶を燃やすにしても中身が空だと怪しまれ、
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
代わりの死体を入れて持ち込み、
水霊の遺体はどうなる
There we go.
自分で歩いて帰ったのです。
Oh, this is cool.
死んでいたのではないのか
見せる薬があります。ご存知ですか。
そんなのは幻想だ。
マンダラケとフグを使うと聞きました。
Oh, pufferfish too.
空の棺桶を調べていただけますか。
釘の跡です。
おそらく死んだ水霊が入っていたのでしょう。助けに来た者が棺桶を開き息を吹き返した。
Oh, okay, okay, gotcha.
死体が入った棺桶を代わりに置き、業者の格好に変装して出て行った。どの道見つかれば死罪になるのでしょう。
Yeah, why not?
私なら喜んでかけますよ。
お前の場合
Well, okay, that's fair.
ここに遺体がないということは、代わりの死体が燃やされた後なら完全勝利だ。
Yeah, she would have disappeared.
Mm-hmm. But now we know she's out there.
そんな真似はさせない。
Hmm. What?
生きてい
What's
た
that,
ら
Momo?
会いたいですね。数々の事件を事故に見せかけた知識、それをやってのける度胸、皆を騙そうとした
Hate
した
to
た
break
か
it
さ。
to you.
こんな人物がさっさとくたばっては、よみがえりの妙薬。
Oops. Wait.
すみません。
なんだ
足を縫ってもらえませんか。傷口が開いたような。
She
Yeah.
got so excited.
Right. You
Got
shouldn't
so
be walking around.
excited.
ローラン様。
Ah, yeah. Our new, huh. What?
Okay.
結局水霊のことは秘密裏に水霊という彼女についても彼の死が彼女の後見人だったという彼女の才能を見抜き養女に迎えたらしいがそれ以前のことはよくわからないという
Ah.
But still fairly recent.
いつも悪いな
That is my life. Yep.
Yeah.
心配なのは怪我だけではない羅漢のこともある父親であることは確かなようだが事情があるのだろう
問題ないかと。
すなわち微妙な味だと
Tastes bad. Is there like a medicine he has to take?
一応のけじめだガンガンとして
Oh!
人前ではやらない方がよろしい。
Is this keeping his...
Oh shit.
Oh!
洗練された所作天女の笑み高級が限定のものになった5年前に宦官となった弱い24の男それが人種なのだ仮面をかぶると決めてから
Gotcha.
男でなくす薬を飲み続けている、
Wow.
Okay.
本当に不能になりますよ。
お前だって同じだろ
子はもう成人していますし。
I'm good.
Gaoshin's like 45. Looks like a fucking like.
末の息子もそろそろ嫁をもらってもいいのです
How old are you?
まだ19じゃないか。
ええ19です
還
Yeah.
元人士は24だが、さっさとお手つきを作って
早く孫を抱かせてください
努力する。
Yeah,
That's great.
I love it. I love how on the level they are.
ごきげんよう。
今日もまた素敵な衣装ですね。主上はローラン妃のもとに通ってはいるが、あまり
Okay.
触手が動かないという。髪も化粧もコロコロ変わる。
Okay.
訪れるたびに妃が誰かわからなくなり混乱するそうだ。それでも10日に一度は通うことにしているらしい。
All right.
先の皇太后に気に入られた重臣であり、
Okay.
普段扱うわけにはいかないからだ。先の帝の幼児趣味を嫌悪している今の皇帝はリーシュ妃に手を出すつもりはなさそうだ。少女の頃に今の皇帝を産んだ皇太后はもう一人子を産んでいる。イカンは皇太后につきっきりになり、無事に出産を終えた。
Yeah.
皇
Yep,
太后の
just summarizing it all.
ためにないがしろにされ
Right.
アードゥオ妃は子宮を失い、今の皇帝の初めての巫女も、もしその時の子が今生きていれば、
Would I be free?
次の東宮をこしらえてしまえばいい。
So that we can clear up the succession issue as fast as possible. Hence him kind of helping
Yeah.
manage all this so that
実は
what?
高級ですか。
Oh,
Oh, she
yep,
浴用品
yep. She's
Oh.
pregnant.
again?
すなわち妊娠の可能性があると。
今日からでもいけるか。
はい。
Perfect. That also moves her out of the situation
Yeah.
that she was in.
名前も聞きたくないあれと顔を合わせることはないだろう。気を使ってくれたのだろうか。
Uh huh.
また毒味
Yep.
役。
Yep.
機嫌がいいのね。そんなことはせっかく期待外があるから入ってきたと思う
Worth cracking the whip on. Yeah.
Nah, she loves you now. You saved her.
You did.
You saved her boy.
Exactly.
以前と変わらず
She fucking loves
毒
you.
味の毎日を過ごし
That's her way of saying I'll miss you.
Right, exactly.
月経が来ていないこと以外これといった確証はないアード王妃の件でも思ったがただの公職親父じゃないのかもしれない相談役としても心強かったアード王妃宮廷にすら影響を与えかねないかだからといって子ができても厄介
Right.
Meanwhile,
そういう姫の人に受けされるんだって
Ooh.
all right.
Ooh.
Hmm.
Fun. Yeah, it's true. If Jinshi is the sole heir, by the sole male, heir, then it's a situation where Jinshi's death would just leave the emperor with no current heir.
Right, because Gyokyo had a
Had a
daughter.
girl. Yeah.
Yeah. And because of the complications surrounding Jinshi's actual heritage, it's the no.
People wouldn't immediately panic, of
Well,
like,
but we can't have you be the actual heir, because you're not actually my child. You're
Sure.
the child of my childhood friend.
right.
/ younger brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's how it works with heirs, right?
Right. Yeah.
So he is effectively the only heir still. Yeah.
And hence also you got to be a eunuch just
Yeah.
to simplify this,
No potential of you just randomly impregnating somebody.
Okay.
All right. Fun.
So-
So from Mao Mao's perspective, she can't make the entire leap that it's Lacan
Yep.
because there's a couple things that just narrowly kind of avoid that whole aspect of things there. And then, of course, we have the meta knowledge that it is him.
Right.
But Suirei planned this all with him and or in, combination with whatever
Yeah.
he was planning with this
They
whole
are
thing
accomplices.
to then set up a situation where she could get away and also have her death faked out, and thus there would be no investigation because they thought they caught the person
Yep.
associated with this.
Great.
Perfect. I love the idea that we're also getting a female antagonist figure that is, for the longer term portion of the story, involved in things. Because there was a lot of things that made her diametrically opposed to Mao Mao in the way that she was designed, in the way that she spoke, in the way that she acted, in the way that Mao Mao immediately kind of noticed her like, oh, right, in this area of the palace, the women here earned the spot to be here by their talents and skills. So this woman is smart. She's very much not caught up in the kind of dumb gossip stuff that a lot of the other ones were. She seems to be quiet, observant, critical, and she's also very smart with regards to the things that you are with, herbs, spices, and apothecary stuff.
I can't help but notice that when she said you should stay away from this area, and Lacan saw her at that point, she's effectively saying stay away from Lacan potentially, right?
Or like, at the very least, I'm trying to scare you away.
Sure.
Because you might be, at the very least, a threat to what I'm doing.
Right.
I think the part that is the most interesting to me is, do you think that she was trying to give any kind of a clue to Mao Mao?
Potentially.
As to what was going on?
Potentially, but if she is, I think it... I don't know how much that matters.
Okay.
Because I think Lacan was absolutely trying to give her clues and hints and stuff, because
to Mao Mao,
not necessarily like full clues and hints, but he wants her to figure it out, because that means she's just as smart as him.
Why though?
Because then, like,
he would get caught if she
he
out.
doesn't want to get caught. But the thing is,
so then,
like,
why
I think
does he want to give her clues then?
Well, like, he was the one that, like, wanted her to go on the mission that involved the whole thing with, like, the metal and stuff. Right? Now, granted, that helped them figure out how to do the thing that he would then maybe need them to make the whatever, But, like, there were elements in which he helped guide her. Even, I think, the situation with the... I'd have to go back and look at the different, like, the things in the episodes that basically get Mao Mao to go on the mission, right? Because oftentimes they would be these sort of coincidence, happenstance things. But at least in one of the cases, it was specifically Lacan. And maybe he just thought that it wouldn't be a problem, like maybe. But I don't know.
But then what does he get out of making sure that she's smart?
Because that was his whole obsession with her mother.
Well, right, but so he finds out that she's smart.
I think that's just something that he would be, like, invested and interested in.
Well, right, but couldn't he just figure that out, like by just observation?
I mean, sure, but he could have
observation.
But he theoretically could have figured that out about her mother just by, like, not playing Go with her and stuff like that, right? Just by, like, watching. Oh yeah,
well,
okay,
right,
she's
right,
smart.
Right. But that's different than finding out that she's smart. There's a difference between that. That's not the same thing. There's a difference between knowing that someone is smart and experiencing it. So I'm trying to figure out, why would he do this in a way that would point things potentially to him? Is it because he enjoys the game itself? Like, he wants to play a game with Mao Mao as the other side of the other player, basically. Because then it's not about knowing whether or not she's smart. It's that he already knows she could be smart.
Sure.
But it's I want to have that back and forth. If we're playing Go still, it's I want you to play the white pieces. No one will play the white pieces for me.
This is the part of where I think that that Lacan has a hand in her also finding some stuff out.
Okay.
The part where she got really excited and was like, I want to meet Suirei, not so that she'll get arrested, but so that I can basically, like, like, talk to her and figure out stuff from her, right? Basically, she was intellectually stimulated by the idea of having this rival. Cool. Awesome. I hope that happens with her and Suirei. That sounds great. But also, if Lacan is her accomplice, which Mao Mao is not at all, like, on the trail of, because she doesn't even want to think about the guy existing, right?
No.
Effectively, what is happening there is she is being made to desire to meet Lacan, right?
Right, but it's so obtuse that she actually does not specifically want to meet Lacan.
No, of course not.
It's the end result.
No, right. But I think if I were to think about the, like, of the many potential avenues in which Lacan is trying to do his scheme, right? Set multiple traps. Jinshi dying was absolutely one of them,
Yeah.
The other one would be to get in Mao Mao's head so that way he could actually basically, like, make her willingly go with him, right? That would be the ultimate ideal. How
Sure.
likely that would be because of all the shit that he's done, you know,
Right.
that's not exactly high up there, right? But as far as if the ultimate thing that he would desire would be something like that. And so the fact that things happened in this episode that could theoretically progress things towards that end, you know, at least from his point of view, I think that makes what otherwise
Right,
would
but
have
that's
been a
using
coincidence.
that's using the reverse of the flow of events. Basically, that since the effect was this, the cause must have been this. Like,
Sure, but we're not seeing like the prep that they do, so that's
no,
the
no,
only
but
way we can kind of infer
no,
things.
but we basically did actually see all the prep that led to Jinshi coming up to here. We did actually see that it was these coincidences.
Right, like all the
that
different
led
jobs
to
that they had
this.
to do.
Right. So all those things lead way more, in my opinion, to a very strange accidental death for Jinshi than they do with Mao Mao, like literally being there at the exact like maybe another way to look at it is Mao Mao being there and actually getting hurt and saving Jinshi is so 1 in 1,000, you know, it is so unlikely that that probably is where it explains Lacan's shock.
Sure.
Is the just pure
What the fuck?
what the fuck of all
Yeah.
this.
Uh-huh.
Even if it's also all these other things, it's the idea that Mao Mao being here or being led towards this whole thing here is not at all a part of his plan.
Okay.
It's way too obtuse to be
All right,
in that
I like
regard
it.
there. I think it's more the idea that Mao Mao is protected by Jinshi.
Right, and so he has to remove Jinshi.
So he has to remove Jinshi.
Yeah.
Her value will literally go down
by
the
order
removal
of magnitude.
the
Yeah.
people around her that can protect her.
Right.
So it might just be as simple as, oh, she was brought into the palace? Cool. She was specifically brought into the rear palace. Oh,
Shit.
fuck.
Yeah.
Well, I can't do anything about that.
Right.
But if I could bring her out to the
yeah.
not rear palace,
Well, and
then
especially
I can cook with that.
And especially if there ends up being any kind of news, like from the thing with the whole garden party and stuff, of like, oh, there was actually this, like, you know, apothecary girl that, like, kind of did some crazy stuff. He'd be like, that's my daughter, you know, right?
Or like, that's my daughter.
Yeah. Right, exactly. Whatever association he has to Mao
Sure.
Mao in his fucked up head, right? Yeah, so I think that's definitely the case. The fact, I like the point of progress in that they don't actually stop them. Suirei and him did their whole thing and get away, but they know that it happened, right? Like they know that she's out there and that she had an accomplice. She did not get out by herself, right? Like that
Right,
on
but
its
those
own is a-
accomplices don't have to be the mastermind. I think the
Totally,
fun thing from
yes.
this is that from Jinshi's perspective and from Mao Mao's perspective,
It makes sense for Suirei to be the
Suirei
mastermind.
actually could be the mastermind here.
Yep.
But they don't have a motive. And that's a part that I actually find really fun here is that Suirei doesn't have a clear motive in this case here. There's nothing that they've deduced that leads that there, which means it's a complete and total mystery box for whenever the story wants to bring her back into things again.
Now-
and because she was saved, that means also that Lacan is not doing this as a way to silence her. He actually really needs and or likes
helpful to have her around.
and yes, she's very helpful.
Yep.
So it's not some I will need a new apprentice, fun, far younger and more powerful. You know,
Well, and this
just
is where-
no, she's great, and my goal has nothing to do with you being maybe like tied into working with me. I'm just trying to get you, regardless of whether that's for some weird fucked up reason or just I'm trying to get custody of my daughter by any means necessary.
Right.
It doesn't really matter. I think it coalesces in that that's his motivation.
Right, and that's where. So if I were to, in a lot of ways, I feel like this would be too simple of a motivation for Suirei, but it does make me think of the whole Peter Baelish situation with then the other lady at the Airy, right, where it's the I am in cahoots with this person. I believe I have their attentions and affections. We have a special bond in that we're scheming and all that stuff.
Or whatever.
Right, or whatever. And then, oh, hey, their interests end up being someone else. And then that's maybe where,
Yeah, I think that's way too much of a stretch.
Yeah.
I think that we have way too much not explained about Suirei to start connecting her to Lacan with regards to motivation.
Well, and
the only thing we don't have is a hostage situation. because if it was a hostage situation, then she wouldn't have been.
Yeah, shit would have gone down differently.
Well, she wouldn't have been rescued from the coffin. It would have been a literal poisoning, and she would have been left there to die, and the body would have been burned and everything.
Right, exactly.
Which means also, this wasn't probably a thing from Mao Mao to have hints being given from Sui Rei to then help find her here, because then that just leads to a situation where they know Sui Rei's alive. So, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
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 The ways in which they have had an impact in Mao Mao being on their trail could just be wrapped up in the pride angle of these are very not just like smart people, but like well-read people in a world where there aren't a lot of people like that. And so I can imagine that there would be a level of kind of like ego that could be wrapped up in that, where it's we make our own rules, we can do all this stuff and nobody, like nobody will be the wiser. Nobody will figure this shit out because we've planned everything out. Maybe. And so we can kind of gloat. We can talk about Darth Plagueis the Wise, and
I feel like that's kind of mocking it, though. I feel like that's kind of a silly way to look at it, because it's basically saying like, they're maniacally laughing about the fact that they've gotten through all this. No, I feel like if anything, Sui Rei was maybe at the very least trying to test Mao Mao.
Okay.
And just ask questions and be like, wait, are you a threat? Like,
sure.
Are you a potential problem?
Yeah.
Because I don't know for sure, but I do get a sus vibe from you.
Okay.
In the same way that you do of me.
Wait.
Like,
okay.
Hi.
Hang on. All right. No. I
got it?
I have a theory of why Sui Rei treats Mao Mao that way that I like way more than any kind of jealousy angle. You're Lacan's blind spot.
Oh.
He's smart, he's calculating, he's cold, methodical, and thorough.
Yeah.
But when it comes to you, he's not.
He's different.
He's not. And so she has her own motivation for what she's doing that does actually involve like having Jinshi get killed, right? Maybe it's the whole thing of the Emperor doesn't have an heir right now. Cool.
She could literally be a spy. Like
yeah, exactly. It could be any number of things, right?
And she has a little bit of a thing over on Lacan even. This is a bit ridiculous.
Potentially.
But it's the idea that we can't throw out the idea that any of these people could be affiliated with a faction that literally just wants this whole society to destabilize and collapse.
Right.
So that's on the table. We don't have to go into it. But yes, it's the idea that she sees Mao Mao as a rival, and it's the thing of like,
because she is a rival, right? We have a nice rivalry set up here.
That's why he's all weird about you. Okay. That makes sense. Because I just get the vibe that from the way that Lacan is being set up and adding more and more dimensions to him, he's not just pure evil or what have you. He's wearing his own mask as well.
Right, and that's where I think that he is also playing Sui Rei in that his motivation.
He's a trickster. He's a trickster.
His motivation is not to have, Jinshi be dead.
No,
right.
It's to get to Mao Mao.
Right, and that's how they can have that sort of tenuous, an alliance based in. I can't remember the line, but yeah. So
right, he would need to set up a situation where Mao Mao would be willingly abandoned.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But he didn't know where she was.
Right.
Before she got brought to the palace.
Well, he did, but it didn't work, right? Because he kept going to the
the
brothel and being like, "Hey,
Yeah, but again, this is where things just get a little bit wonky for me. Is that if he's wanting Mao Mao, and the people just randomly kidnapped her, and those were not Lacan's people, because if they were Lacan's people, he wouldn't just do any of that. He would just bring her to him and his stuff or place or what have you sometime later.
I fully believe that that's the freak accident that weirdly might have saved Mao Mao, because eventually that old granny at the brothel, she would have just been like, yeah, but money's money.
Money's money, yeah.
And sorry, hon,
And, it's probably in some ways also a part of her, like, standing up for her, her strongest generals in the place there, and be like, oh yeah, fuck this guy for fucking with Mao Mao's mom,
Exactly.
So it's a little bit of also
you're the child of the person that we took good care of and was like, a very integral part of
Right.
our
We are
organization
human
for a
beings. We have empathy, even though we're, like...
We're running a business.
We're running a business primarily, yeah. That's probably part of it as well. I just have to basically suspend my disbelief a little bit in that Gaushin... No, sorry, not Gaushin. Why did I say Gaushin? Fucking Lacan didn't just try the exact same thing. Why didn't he ever just try to kidnap her at any point? Meaning that he's not a bad person because he wants to do... No, that's the thing. He has to... Because if he's been wanting to do this all along, he's wanting to do it in a way that actually, like, respects her free will in some level.
To an extent, once she was kidnapped, the palace had no problem purchasing her as a servant.
No, right? She was kidnapped for a servant, to be a servant.
Right, exactly. So there
was no purchasing involved. Right?
Wasn't she purchased from the people who kidnapped her? Like
what? No, wasn't she just abducted and thrown into the new batch of servants for the rear palace?
No, there was a point when they were like when Gaushin was investigating Mama or something where
the
idea
go to the first episode
where
here.
Basically her record included the people that sold her, right? Where it's the
so she ends up getting abducted.
Mm-hmm.
Right. She ends up I wonder if my dad's eating properly. Then she thinks here, I'm not sure if I was sold off or ransomed, but annoyingly it's already been 3 months.
Right.
Yeah, so she has no way of knowing, but effectively she was kidnapped.
Whether it was by people officially within the organization of the palace that kidnapped her, or just the palace has no problem with the sourcings of its servants, right? Who knows?
Yeah, I would assume on some level they do not give a fuck about where their servants come from.
But given that, I'm curious if that would then potentially extend, to Lacan, where it's why didn't you just kidnap her?
Right.
Like
he didn't want to do that. That's the wrong way to do it.
Yeah.
Because it's more effective than any of this other shit. It just cuts. Now, again, maybe the story has a plan for all of this to come together and make sense. But I think that at the very least, if he wants Mao Mao, my immediate question then goes to the very beginning of the series with this stuff here of, well, some people wanted Mao Mao. Not Mao Mao specifically, but they wanted a person that, could just be easy pickings. So they grab Mao Mao. Mm-hmm. 3 months later, she's in the rear palace, the most important place in the country.
Right.
Which is I think coincidental, but hey, we have a story premise, so let's get to it here.
Story premises have a blank check as far as
yes, true. But when you then go and you're like, okay, we're going to recontextualize that moment because we've had time to develop our narrative here.
It does throw it into...
Well, no, you have to basically make it all just line up. Yeah. And one of the ways that you could have it line up is that part of this has something to do with Lacan even remotely. And if Lacan's thing was he wants Mao Mao, I would think that either he's got some galaxy brain plan by kidnapping her and having her sent into the rear palace.
But he did call Jinshi specifically a thief, so I don't think that was...
I don't think that's the case. I think that he's feeling robbed of going about things the proper way after he fucked up her mom.
Right.
We're not going to ignore that here. Then...
Yeah, so
was his stuff with the mom then accidental? Because then if he's that kind of person, he wouldn't have any issue with taking Mao Mao again. So you see where I'm like, so there has to be something we're missing here about him.
The only thing that kind of maybe makes sense to me, and even this I don't feel like works with how Lacan is that
how we think he is.
Yeah, with how we think he is that he wanted her to intellectually develop unimpeded.
But she's already grown up. That he's been wanting to get her for years now.
Yes, but that's why it's the as opposed to just kidnapping her. If it's something where it's hey, if I teach her, then it doesn't mean anything if I can do my mental games with her, right?
No, not that.
Because then I taught her, so there's no point in it. But even then that feels like such a...
Because, again, he's been trying to get her
For years.
For years. So
Right,
it's not
using
about
money.
it's
Yeah.
He's trying to go through the official channels, and he's getting, cock blocked. He's getting
Right.
walled off from this regard here.
Maybe
so
it's just so that way he'll have. No, because the kidnappers didn't. Yeah. I don't know.
So
Huh.
I think that on some level we've mischaracterized Lacan. He's not actually trying to, fuck his daughter or something really gross or what have you. No, he's actually just trying to bring her into the fold with whatever his grander thing is.
I think that's definitely a part of it too, but I am not taking him out of the little finger camp.
Well, I know. I just think that it's you accidentally end up attaching things to him because you're comparing him to Littlefinger.
Sure.
You're taking the archetype that I do agree with you that he is similar,
Right.
but the archetype doesn't then mean all these other things are attached to.
Just because a character plays to an archetype does not mean they automatically fit all the potential
and
aspects
Littlefinger's
of
not
that
even an archetype. Littlefinger is just a trickster character. Littlefinger is an example of a trickster character. But just because he has a daughter figure person that he wants to get a hold of a lot doesn't mean he's, a predator or he's, all these other things there. The part that's the most sus is his part with Mao Mao's mom. That's
No, absolutely.
That's the part that's
that's the in case you didn't put it together, this guy is really fucking twisted.
really,
right?
really ruthless. He does not have too many morals.
And we have no reason to believe that he has any as of yet.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. But it is interesting that he is now paired with Suirei, because Suirei we don't know the motivation of, but we can assume certain things because of Mama. Oh, here's one thing.
What?
Here's another thing. I think Suirei was potentially going to kill her there.
Oh, sure.
And she's really like, fuck, if not for Lacan's orders, I would have killed her by now.
Because
and made
she
it look
would
like
be,
an accident.
Because
she's
she'd be a
threat.
problem. Yeah.
And it's the thing of where she's like, no, I don't. What? No, I can't do that anyway. So
yeah, okay, I like it.
So then it's the thing of where that's again another thing where if Suirei's smart enough to realize that she's a problem, and Lacan is given her instruction on how to run this operation, part of that would probably be, don't touch Mao Mao. I want her.
And that could be one of the ways in which maybe, like, I like the idea of her being a spy, in that, okay, she was adopted into this family a few years ago, but not like, that's fairly recent, in that maybe she's a spy. She's like, all right, I'm going to try and do my thing, but it's really hard to get close. And then Lacan sort of clues in, and he's like, oh, but because of the situation with Mao Mao, he's like, actually, motivations might be aligned. And so then she has an ally, basically, that is really invaluable, right? Like an actual high-ranking official at the palace that can help her out and is, also smart, right? Isn't just going to blunder things.
Right.
But
and then it's just, they're both playing with fire by working together.
Right.
Yeah.
Which makes for an inherently interesting dynamic for antagonists, because we've talked about this many times. When antagonists are also in conflict with each other, it's just so fun.
And even if they're not in conflict with each other directly, the potential by their motivations being different.
The degree that the conflict is there or is just a possibility, it's all entertainment for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
But all that to say, we got good stuff with the perspective of Jinshi, thinking about what things could have been. He is taking his own kind of form of manhood repressing contraceptive thing or what have you. That's very interesting because that means man has a cock and balls, and he is not allowed
specifically
to use it.
said, eventually you will become impotent, but not yet.
Not yet. Currently.
But it is not this day.
Currently, what this means is that Jinshi, a 19-year-old man, has refused...
24.
Right. Yeah, because he's totally 24. No, he is actually 19. Jinshi is the mask, remember?
Ah, right.
Yes, exactly. It just all protects him, basically. The idea that he's 19 years old, he is surrounded by gorgeous women who want him, like actually would throw themselves over him.
Yeah.
He has not had the slightest bit of infidelity in the palace at all.
Or even indiscretion.
Yeah. One, Jinshi, I salute you. Two, Gaoshin, I double salute you.
Yeah, Jinshi, the most you know, the most loyal and determined no nut November, you know, right?
He's literally drinking away his nuts, you know.
God damn. Yeah.
I had to say it that way too. But also, Gaoshin's casually Basen's father. I don't know if that was already revealed.
I think
or
I
what have you.
assumed that he was his like older brother or something because Gaoshin ages so gracefully. But the
Gaoshin
idea that-
also probably is drinking this stuff so much to like make him feel. No, he's not. No way.
No, it's
he is drinking it because
he's tasting it for the poison, you know, right?
Well, right, but
we
I
can
think
never
it's-
be too careful, you know.
Oh, well, that too. But I think it's also the thing of where he's working in the same place. He legally has to do this.
Oh, sure.
And
yes.
it's the thing of where, no. I'm not worried about my manhood. My children are already Giga Chads like
Have
Basen.
you seen Basen?
Have you seen Basen?
My seed will inadvertently be spread to the four corners of the earth, you know?
Right.
Like, I just love the idea.
Also, the potential thing of one of the three head ladies of the house.
Yeah, that little
might
teaser for the
be,
next episode.
Might be getting not only
Pregnant?
sold off, but might be also pagante. So you know that's a fun thing as
In
well.
addition to the whole thing of Gyokyo being pregnant again, which hey, might be a boy this time. That would change some things.
That would change some things.
Also, if you know the desire is to remove heirs to the throne, and oh hey, there might be an heir on the way. Like okay, the daughter was born and we know it's a girl. Cool. All right. But the bun in the oven is undetermined. The box has not been opened. You know, like all of the analogies.
Yes,
You know.
all of
So
y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel. So yeah, if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
Next time.